Objection. Objection to the whole fucking narrative. Let me ask a simple fucking question. A question any first-year law student would ask on day one. How the fuck does somebody Google the shooter's name, the exact building, and the specific fucking rifle before Charlie Kirk even gets shot? You explain that shit to me, counselor? I'll wait. This is what we call foreknowledge in my business. It's the kind of evidence that gets you a first-class ticket to a federal indictment.
This is Tyler James Robinson, the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk, who a lot of us now know by name. But according to Google Trends, somebody, maybe multiple, in the DC metro area was searching for Tyler James Robinson one day before the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Okay, you see this big spike over here. That's on September 12th. That's when we all found out through the news who he was and started Googling his name. But this small spike on September 9th, that's kind of weird, don't you think? Now, what about the Losi Center, the building where Tyler Robinson allegedly shot Charlie Kirk from? Well, again, for some reason, a small number of people in the Washington, D.C. area was Googling Losi Center 2 days prior to Charlie Kirk's assassination, September 8th, 2025. What is that all about? Once again, this is when we all heard about it, and some group of people over here 2 days prior was, just having fun Googling Losi Center. Now, what about a Mauser 98? You've heard of that? Well, evidently there was pretty much no interest in the Mauser 98 until August 27th, when somebody, once again, in DC was like, I am curious about the Mauser 98. Once again, to reiterate, these are all just coincidences. And since this information has gone viral, people are now reporting that all of that data has now been scrubbed. And so this is what it looks like now. Nothing to see here. You guys have heard. Once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, 3 times is enemy action.
That's the medical examiner. It is a woman named Dr. Deidre Weiss Amaro, and she blew in from California. She was announced as the new state medical examiner in May of 2024. So I'm interested in learning as much as I can about this medical examiner. I'd like to know more about this medical examiner.
You know who else wanted to know more about Dr. Deidre Amaro? It's our friends over there in the state of Israel. But check out this date, June 30th, 2025, a sudden spike in the interest of the head medical examiner of the state of Utah, Dr. Deidre Amaro, emanating from, once again, the state of Israel, for reasons unknown. What about Timpanogos Regional Hospital, the hospital where Charlie Kirk was declared dead? Well, there's pretty much no interest in Timpanogos Regional Hospital in the state of Israel, because why would there be? Except this spike that happened about a month before Charlie Kirk's death. That is very odd. And it was a surgeon from this hospital that told us that Charlie Kirk was a quote-unquote man of steel, and that his body stopped a bullet that would typically just go through everything, and it was an absolute miracle. We don't know yet which surgeon supposedly said that, but here are a few surgeons who work at Timpanogos Regional Hospital. We got Dr. Stephen Nealman, Dr. Robert Patterson, Dr. Lee Peterson, Dr. Lee Trotter, just to name a few. I wonder if anybody was searching for these folks.
Stephen Nealman, July 18th, 2025. This was out of our friends on the other side of the planet over there. Very curious about the surgeons in Utah, you'll find out. Robert Patterson, MD, July 23 and 24. I go to the next one, Lee Trotter, someone with an IP address originating in Israel, looking up surgeon Lee Trotter, near about that same July 20 time period. Are there other surgeons in the area? Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is. There's a guy named Lee Patterson. So I look up Lee Patterson, somebody with an IP address originating in Israel. In the week of July 20, that week on either side of July 20, was very interested in all the people who practice surgery at Timpanogos Regional Hospital in Orem, Utah.
So yeah, I don't know. We can either believe that there just happened to be a few people in the state of Israel in the month of July and August who were very interested in finding out more about a certain regional hospital in the state of Utah and who the state's head medical examiner was, and the different surgeons in the area. Or maybe there's just one too many coincidences to not investigate further. Oh, and by the way, I just checked what Google Trends looks like now. And yeah, looks like absolutely nothing to see here, guys.
This ain't no psychic hotline. This ain't Miss Cleo getting lucky on a Tuesday with her tarot cards. This is evidence of a premeditated conspiracy, plain and simple. This is someone knowing the fucking playbook before the play even started. They weren't just watching the game, they were writing the damn script. And they were sloppy enough to leave their fingerprints all over the internet. And the prosecution's case gets even stronger. Let's look at Exhibit B and C. Losi Center, Mauser 98. Names you'd never heard of before this whole nightmare started. But somebody had. The searches for the building spiked 2 days before the hit. The rifle? A month before. And don't even try to feed me the old could-have-been anyone bullshit defense. That dog won't hunt. The data is specific. This was in D.C. and Israel, not Salt Lake, not Ogden, not bumblefuck Utah, where the crime actually happened. What, are we just supposed to believe some random schmuck in Tel Aviv sitting on his balcony suddenly got real curious about an obscure university building in Utah and a World War II-era rifle, all by coincidence? At the same time? Go fuck yourself with that defense. In a court of law, that's not a coincidence. That's what we call establishing a pattern. And this pattern stinks to high heaven. Oh, but wait, it gets better. The conspiracy wasn't just planning the hit, they were planning the aftermath. They're not just searching the shooter or the building, they're Googling the fucking surgeons, the medical examiner, the fucking hospital, where they knew Kirk would be taken and declared dead. Who the fuck in Israel gives a shit about a random regional hospital in Utah? Unless they're planning something. Unless they're doing advanced reconnaissance on the people who will be handling the body, the evidence. We're talking months before the shooting, not days, months. They were vetting the medical staff, the coroner, the whole damn chain of custody for the corpse. That's not a glitch, that's a blueprint for a cover-up drafted before the crime was even committed. Bravo, and what do you do when you get caught red-handed, with your pants down, on Google Trends for the whole world to see? You do what every guilty son of a bitch does. You destroy the evidence. You fucking wipe it. Just like a dirty hard drive. You bleach it. Like Hillary's emails. Now, when you look for it, it says not enough data. Bullshit. There was plenty of fucking data. Until it got inconvenient. Until it started pointing to a conspiracy so blatant, so arrogant, they had to call in the cleaners. Scrubbed. Sanitized. Swept under the fucking rug like Epstein's client list. That's not just a technical issue, ladies and gentlemen. That's obstruction of justice in plain sight. But they didn't stop at the crime scene. They went for the courtroom itself. They even searched the fucking judges, the ones who would preside over the case. Judge Lunin retires. Judge Graff steps in. And boom, both got searched from Israeli IPs months before Kirk got popped. They were vetting the judiciary. Oh, I'm sure. That's just another one of them crazy coincidences, right? Just some legal scholars in the Middle East with a passionate interest in the Utah District Court system. You know what I call a stack of coincidences this tall? A mountain of fucking evidence. And just to make sure no one on the inside asks too many questions. You clear the board. The head of the fucking FBI in Salt Lake City gets removed, reassigned, gone, a month before the shooting. Are you fucking kidding me right now? This is what mob bosses do before a hit. You get the local cops on your payroll or you get them the hell out of the way. This isn't a cover story. That's a fucking production schedule. It's a flowchart for a professional assassination. The only thing missing is a fucking director's chair with CIA or Mossad stitched across the back. I don't want to hear another motherfucking word about conspiracy theories. This ain't a theory. A theory is a guess. This is time-stamped, IP-logged, platform-verified, digital fucking fact. This is evidence that would hold up in any court in this country if we had any honest courts left. And you expect people to sit down, shut their mouths, and pretend the data doesn't exist. To believe the fairy tale about a lone nut with a girlfriend? Fuck that. If you don't speak up now, if you don't demand answers, you're letting them get away with it again. First it was JFK, then it was 9/11, then it was Seth Rich, then it was Epstein, now it's Charlie Kirk. How many times are you gonna let them play you for a fool? You better start asking questions. Hard questions. You better start spreading this shit like a damn wildfire. Because if they can wipe this out of Google, the digital record of human history, they can sure as hell wipe you out of existence. This ain't just about Charlie Kirk anymore. This is about the truth. And they're burying it alive, in plain fucking sight, while telling you you're crazy for even looking. Chris Dallas, Celebrity Recreations. We ain't theorizing, we're exposing. Now do me a favor. Like the fucking video, drop a comment, and share this bitch before it disappears for good. Vinny out.